This episode is brought to you by Microsoft Azure. Turn your ideas into reality with an Azure free account. Get everything you need to develop apps across cloud and hybrid environments, scale workloads, create cloud-connected mobile experiences, and so much more. Discover what you can create with popular services free for 12 months. Learn more at azure.com. That's AZURE.com. And sign up for a free account to start building in the cloud today.
Welcome to the Two-Footed Extra Pod. This is our quick hit show where I'll unpack the latest news and gossip, plus rumours in the world of football. This show was brought to you by our friends over at Liberty Shield. Did you know that Liberty Shield's VPN service not only keeps your data safe, but can also help you bypass government blocks on IPTV streaming? When connected to Liberty Shield, your internet activity is encrypted, meaning your ISP can't see or block those crucial live football streams when you sit down to watch. It genuinely is the ultimate solution for staying connected and never missing a match. Right now, you can save 25% by using the code EPL25OFF. That's EPL25OFF at checkout. All caps, no spaces. Oh, and one more thing. For more in-depth analysis on the biggest talking points from around the world of football, don't miss my main show, the Two-Footed Podcast, with new episodes dropping every single weekday. And if you want more from EPL Index, don't forget our Tad Predictable preview show or the Final Whistle review show recorded immediately after the big Sunday match. Now, let's crack on. What's good, boys and girls? Two-Footed Podcast Extra on Thursday, the 19th of September. Hope you're all well. Let's get into some news. So, didn't mention it on the Two-Footed today, but mentioning it now. We had two games in the EFL Cup last night. I said Brighton versus Wolves would be a good game, and a good game it proved to be. Baliba put Brighton 1-0 up. Adingra made it 2. Guedes pulled one back for Wolves. I'm really interested to see if he plays a bit this year. Ferdy Kadioglu got his first goal for Brighton to make it 3-1. Tommy Doyle pulled back a late goal for Wolves and set up a little bit of a grandstand finish, but ultimately Brighton held on. And then in the other game, the replay of the 1987 FA Cup final, Brandon Thomas Asante put Coventry 1 up on 63 minutes, and it looked like they were going to hold on for the win. But in the 88th minute, Jed Spence equalises, and then on 92, Brennan Johnson, who's taking quite a lot of crap from his own fan base as well as morons online, got the winner and sends Tottenham through to the next round. We will have the other half of games from this round next Tuesday and Wednesday. A couple of things to note. Last night, Man City wore a god-awful looking kit that should be burnt. That's news from me to Man City. Burn that kit. It is dreadful. Steve Cooper says Leicester City were let down due to an awful human error, which gave Crystal Palace a goal in last weekend's draw. So they're complaining about the Mateta goal. The first one, not the penalty, the first one. Mateta's goal was originally ruled out for offside, with the video assistant referee overturning the decision despite replays appearing to show the French striker in an offside position. Cooper says that Leicester have shown evidence to the Premier League but have not received an apology. We're over it now, but it was an awful human error. Really? I didn't think he was offside because he was behind the ball when it was crossed. Now, I did think maybe there was a shout for, I think it was Tyreek Mitchell who crossed it to him, for him being offside when the ball was played to him, but I didn't think Mateta was offside. I must watch that again and have a look. Where are we going next? St. Johnstone owner being treated for cancer. That's Adam Webb. The owner of St. Johnstone has cancer of the head and neck. His lawyer says the prognosis is very good. This week, they sacked their manager, Craig Levein, and they apparently intend to appoint a new manager immediately before Webb takes a leave of absence when he hopes to come back in December. Well wishes with him. Hopefully, he makes a full recovery. Professional footballer J. Emmanuel Thomas has appeared in court as he was charged with orchestrating the attempted importation of drugs. He's currently playing for Greenock Morton, and allegedly he has been involved in the attempted smuggling of 60 kilograms of cannabis worth an estimated £600,000. Former Arsenal Academy graduate, didn't make the grade at Arsenal, had loans at Blackpool, Doncaster, Cardiff, went to Ipswich, Bristol City. He's been all around the place. QPR, MK Dons, Gillingham, Payong in Thailand, which maybe is where he made some connections. Livingston, Aberdeen, Jamshedpur, which is in India, Kidderminster Harriers, and now Greenock Morton. But this is likely going to be end of career. He signed a 6-month contract in the summer, but it looks like he's in a significant bit of trouble. Let's see, where are we here? Niamh Charles of Chelsea has had successful surgery on her dislocated shoulder, which she suffered in a pre-season game against Feyenoord. Okay. The National League Cup, a competition between the 16 fifth-tier sides, between 16 fifth-tier sides and 16 Premier League 2 teams, will start next month. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So how is this going to work? The top 14 teams in last season's National League, who were not promoted, along with the 2 teams that were relegated from the Football League into the National League, have been invited not to take part. However, Barnet, Eastleigh, Solihull and Southend decided not to take up their places, obviously want to focus on the league and getting promoted. So Dagenham and Redbridge, Wealdstone, Woking and Ebbsfleet will take their spots. That sounds fun. That's a really good test for the Premier League 2 teams because they're going up against real experienced pros. Mikel Arteta says Martin Odegaard's ankle ligament injury is quite significant. Reports last night that it could be 2 months or more. So that's a huge blow. An absolutely huge blow. Stephen Kirby has been named as the new manager of Bristol City's women's team. He spent the last 2 years with Leicester City as the women's first team coach. Previously worked at MK Dons. Cardiff City manager Errol Bullitt gave an impassioned defence of his tenure at the club and vowed never to give up after overseeing the club's worst start to a season for 35 years. And with Molly going mental, I'll go to break. And I'll be back with the gossip. See you in a sec. Right, welcome back. So we rush through the gossip while she's going nuts. Chelsea are open to letting Mykhailo Mudryk leave in January, with Marseille interested in the 23-year-old. Very unlikely that Marseille will be willing to pay a significant fee for him, though, and given Chelsea still have him under contract, I believe for about 7 more years, that's going to cost them quite a bit to get rid of him. Arsenal have opened contract talks with Gabriel, although those talks are in the early stages, which is basically Football Insider's way of saying they're not actually happening, but we're going to suggest that they happen. And when he does sign a new deal at some point during the season, we'll claim we were first to break the news that the talks were ongoing. Denmark playmaker Christian Eriksen was linked with leaving Manchester United in the summer, but he says he did not consider leaving the club. I wouldn't believe a word of any of it. Real Sociedad and Spain midfielder Martin Zubimendi regrets not moving to Liverpool and wants the Reds to come back in for him, and I do believe they will go back in for him in the summer. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has contacted Edin Terzic to become the new manager of Borussia Dortmund. Paulo Fonseca, who was appointed in the summer, is already under huge pressure because the start of the season has been really poor. I don't think Terzic is a particularly great manager. Like, I know he came second in the Bundesliga, but he bottled the Bundesliga. I know he got to the final of the Champions League, but they didn't win. And I don't celebrate defeats, so I'm not really sure on that one. I just don't think he's a great manager, to be honest. Inter Milan president Giuseppe Morata says the club were close to signing Erling Haaland when he was 15, only for red tape to scupper the move. I mean, there's dozens of stories like this about pretty much every great player ever. But this club almost signed him and that club almost signed him, and ultimately you didn't. And if you really were close to signing him, you would have found a way around the red tape. Arsenal could lose Takahiro Tomiyasu in January with Inter Milan, Napoli and Juve all interested. He's obviously played in Italy before for Bologna. He's probably third choice right back and third or fourth choice left back and third choice centre back. So I could see him wanting to leave because he's a very good player. I think he's the best right back Arsenal have, but he's hurt too often. Ben Chilwell is still expected to leave Chelsea in January, despite returning to football, first team training after failing to secure a move in the summer. Just couldn't find a club that he was willing to go to. I think there was a lot of offers from Turkey and places like that, but he didn't want to go there. Chelsea could appoint Sachin Gupta, who is the executive vice president of basketball operations for the NBA side Minnesota Timberwolves, who are my club, by the way, to a role at the Stamford Bridge Club. I'm not really sure what role he would take on there. Like, his role with the Wolves has always sort of been that he's the kind of cap guru. He knows the CBA inside out, and he's good at kind of complex trades and putting them together, none of which really lends itself to the Premier League, but he is a highly intelligent guy. And finally then, Newcastle are monitoring 18-year-old Chelsea right back Josh Achempong, who could make a move for the England under-19 international. I think, isn't he more of a centre-back? I'm pretty certain he is. I'm pretty certain, yeah, he's a right back or centre-back. I think he's more of a centre-back. Very talented by all accounts. Very, very talented. But you never know. Chelsea are city clubs, so maybe they will let him go. Right, folks, that's going to do me for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.